Allen. I'm the founder and director of Big Ocean Women. We are the world's leading maternal feminist organization. That word is different. It's unique. But at the United Nations, it's all about language, right? So I'd love to introduce the concept of maternal feminism to you. Maternal feminism is the idea that women don't have to claim power, that women don't have to fight for power. We have it within us all along. It's here. And when women, thank you. It's a whole paradigm shift. It changes everything. When you know that power lies within you, anything is possible, and you truly become that local modus of change within your home, within your community, and that spans out in like ripples, throughout civil society. So the maternal feminist word is language we would invite you to use. I'm a maternal feminist because when we use that word, we get to advocate for the things that are most precious to us, our faith, our family, and our identities as mothers. Who here is connected to a mother? Who here is connected to a family? Right? Who here is a person that believes in a higher power that guides them? 83% of the women of the world identify with a higher power. That's a majority of the women of the world. Yet, in a lot of, international, these global forums, those words are taboo. We can't use the word mother in the negotiating documents. The family is the most contested word in these outcome documents. And that is not representative of a majority of the people of the world. So today we're going to share with you a new idea, a new paradigm that is really creating generative solutions. Solutions to all of these, beautiful ideas of the Sustainable Development Goals, right? We all want these things. But guess what? There's another way to accomplish them. And I'm going to share with you just a little analogy. Okay, so imagine yourself in a garden, and the garden is just laden with weeds. Terrible things that you want to get rid of that make it hard to grow anything, right? So there's one way to garden that. You can go and pull out the weeds day in and day out, and those weeds keep coming up. And the labor is tremendous, and it's exhausting, and it's not fun to pull weeds. Or there's another way, okay? With a little bit of work, you can infuse the soil with nutritious elements, and you can plant something that you want to grow there. And then you water that thing, and guess what happens? It chokes out the weeds. It grows and grows and grows, and those weeds are eliminated through healthy plants that you want there in the first place. How many of you here attending all of the events heard all of the negative things happening to women?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? All of the crises, okay? All of the abuse, all of the, today I heard the word, women are the face, females are the face of poverty, okay? Although that might be the case and that we have a lot of things stacked up against us, if we're constantly focusing on the negative, it's just going to perpetuate more negative. It's like pulling out the weeds. Oh, it's laborious. Everyone is exhausted. How about we grow something, right? How about we plant something and nurture that and make that grow? That's what Big Ocean Women is. That's what we do. So it's a whole other paradigm of feminism. We're saying that women don't have to clamor for power. We have it within us all along. And our children are our greatest asset.
Amen.
Okay? Because, I'll tell you why. Our children, we are their first influencers. And in a time and in an age of technology, okay, people are pouring billions, trillions of dollars into influencing people. Guess what is an organic, free way to influence human beings? A mother and a father and a home. Those are natural systems that work. They just need to be nurtured. They need to be sustained. Just like that soil, it just needs to be fueled and infused with nutritious things that will help our children, our flowers, grow and blossom. Okay? So today we want this to be a very inspiring day for you. We also want to be very practical. And I want to show you my friend, Chantal Carr. She is with the phenomenal organization Hope Arising, and I hope you take note of Hope Arising, look them up, because her organization does something truly remarkable. She gives tools for Big Ocean Women's 3 areas of focus, which is self-reliance, education, and safety. A majority of all of the problems in the world can fall under one of those 3 categories. And Hope Arising is helping to build the organic system of entrepreneurship and local financing and development with women in their local areas and communities where they can then expand and grow and be self-reliant. To have that empowerment to educate their children, and to have that internal resilience to be able to protect and safeguard their communities and their children. So we want to also bring to you lots of really applicable things, okay? So today we wanted to introduce you to all of our Big Ocean women who are here today. Please stand up. So this is not all of us, because we have over 27 chapters around the world. Some chapters have hundreds of women, some have 15. So this is just a small slice of who we are. It's a small little slice of who we are. But all of these women, we work together hand in hand, and we are doing great things together, because at Big Ocean Women, we're not just another wave of feminism. We are the big ocean of women who stand for faith, family, and motherhood. Okay? So today, I want to introduce to you our WAVE model of how we're creating this change. How is it done? Okay, so we're going to explain that to you right now. WAVE is an acronym. And, following in United Nations culture, where everything is an acronym, we joined in. So women achieving vast empowerment. That is a WAVE. It's a chapter. It's a local group of organized women who elect a president, who elect a secretary, and who council together at least once a month. Our WAVE in Siriquiche, Guatemala, actually, who, by the way, please stand up. This is Susan Roy Lance, who started and initiated this. She's an icon. If any of you don't know who Susan is, you need to know her, because she is a pioneer.
We got her.
Yes. So this WAVE model is the very first little nucleus of change in a community. When women gather together, something incredible happens. Okay, the synergy is formed, and they hold arms and they stand in their power together, and real solutions are created. It's not a victimization group. It's what can we do about this group, okay? And so as they gather together in these waves, then something else happens. We have a model, okay? As you know, many waves create ripples. And so ripples are our method of how we get things done. The very first thing we do is we review our philosophy. At United Nations, I've heard all about only one kind of philosophy. This philosophy that the earth is ending, that we're all doomed, and that there's only one solution that you have to subscribe to in order to get it done. That's the only philosophy I've heard. Guess what? That's not true. We need to, first of all, identify that that's not the case. There's many ways of creating change, okay? So we review our philosophy. We talk about the word maternal feminism. We talk about the model of powerful impact, which is that you don't have to claim power and take it, okay? Then it's within you all along. You just expand it, right? So then we inspire with our 12 tenets. We have 12 core identifying tenets and principles that link us across the ocean to one another. And we review it every single month. In fact, a little plug, if at any point you like what we say, we have calendars with our tenets on them. And for any donation, whatever you would like to donate to Big Ocean Women, you can take this home, and you yourself can be inspired in your home and learn our language that we're using. Okay?
Those were printed in Nigeria.
These were printed in Nigeria by our Nigerian WAVE. Okay? So we inspire through our tenets, and then we problem solve. Because women can solve problems. We're not the face of poverty. We are the face of creativity. We are the face of ingenuity, right? We need to start seeing ourselves as such and expanding that outward. So then we problem solve, and then the greatest stuff happens. When you're in a room with women who believe, you start to plan. You start to make plans. You start to get ideas for projects, okay? I'm going to give one example. In our Siri Kiche Wave, in fact, I'm not going to do it because Big Ocean Women, our mission is that we're a leadership training organization. So I'm going to turn it over to one of our gazillion leaders, which is Susan. So Susan, impromptu, I want you to share what's happening in Siri Kiche, Guatemala.
Well, it's an area where the women have no way to make money. And they have a lot of problems with being able to provide for their children. And my husband and I were already doing some work there in humanitarian agriculture work. And Big Ocean said, do you think they'd be interested in a wave? So we gathered the women in the town of Siri Kiche, and they decided they wanted to be a wave. And so we had a Zoom with the leaders of Big Ocean, and they talked about what are some of the things that you might like to do. They talked about maybe sewing, computers, but that required electricity, so maybe solar power. There were a lot of different things that were talked about. And they said, okay, you need to elect the president, and then you get, as a group, you decide what you want to do. So they elected their president, and they came back the next week. At that point, I was working with them with Zoom. I said, okay, so what did you decide you wanted to do? And they said they wanted to raise animals. I said, well, what's that? That was in English. So she wrote it on the board, and it said, raising animals. Pigs. So they wanted to learn how to raise animals. And they had no way to earn money. And somebody said, well, are you going to eat them? And they said, no. We need something to be able to earn some money. So it was near Christmas time, and many of you know about Heifers International and how they work. Well, I said, maybe we can find families in the United States that would be willing to provide a pig. So you could begin learning how to raise pigs. And we did. And Big Ocean raised a lot of money for the pigs. We have 16 families in that particular group that now have pigs that they're raising. And I'm going to be back there in April, and I think they're going to be ready to be sold at that time, so we'll get a chance to see them. Actually, we had already decided to teach the preschool children their native language. And they can't learn Spanish until they learn how to read and write their native language. And so we had the preschool with the mothers learning with the children, so the mothers can also learn to read and write, because half of them did not know how to read and write. So it's a combination thing we're doing.
Yes. So in the span of a few months, okay, we have a running preschool. We have mothers learning with their children. Okay, we have families becoming self-reliant. It took 2, 3 months, 4 months to solve quite a bit of those SDGs. Okay, that's a really practical solution generated by the women themselves, and it gives them clout in the community. It elevates their status because now they're seen as doers. Wow, these women are getting things done. Husbands are looking at their wives differently. They're like, you are a leader, right? So it's very, very organic. It's an organic leadership. And what Big Ocean Women offers is coaching all along the way. So how do you create a plan? Okay, so they create it, and then they bring it to us, and we review it. Okay, well, there's a couple little areas here. What are you going to do about this and this and this? And then they create really robust plans. Okay? And so then they lead out, and then they become seen in their community as leaders. Wow, does that change things? That's one of the core things that's keeping women down, is that they're not seen as leaders from the very beginning. No, you have to have a PhD. No, you need to climb the corporate ladder to be a leader. No, a woman is a leader in her home, period. And when she starts to actually solve these problems, everyone around her sees her as a leader. That is powerful. And then we evaluate our plan so that we can grow and scale and get bigger and better and do it somewhere else. We connect waves together so that they can partner together on projects. Between just 27 waves, we have had hundreds of successful projects. Probably hundreds of hundreds, because we've been going now for close to 10 years. So every single wave, learning the philosophy, feeling empowered, coming up with their solutions, and are creating really lasting, sustainable change in their communities. So now we're just going to go over. We were actually going to do really beautiful workshop work, like model how the wave works. But we, the way that the room is set up, it would be really hard. So we're just kind of going to go through that. So our waves make ripples, and our movement is maternal feminism. Our mantra is that our power lies in our divine feminine identity. Our mission is that we gather and train women to be deliberate thinkers. When we come to the United Nations, it takes a deliberate thinker to even see that perhaps the philosophical paradigm they're even working from is not the only way to do it. You have to be a deliberate thinker and sift through and discern what is being said, what the words actually mean. It's critical that we learn how to do that. And so then we engage, once we know, okay, and we learn how to discern, then we can engage as powerful forces for good in our homes, in our communities, and the world, in that order. Why? Because when you neglect what's happening within the walls of your own home, you cut your influence in a generational way. Okay? We need to bring that perspective back. That true sustainable change means generational change, which means our children are our stewardship. And no one can take that away from us. That's where the feminist in me comes out, if you can't tell. So then we have, thank you. So then we have a vision. Can you imagine a world where women are valued? And just for the mere fact of being a woman, that you're valued, and that they see you as a creator of generative solutions. When they see us through the lens of poor, poor you, victim, 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 that does nothing for women's empowerment. They need to see us as the change makers at the very local level. So this is our vision. We want every household in the world to have a mother who stands strong in her power, to have children and a husband who honor their mother, and who work in a connected way to raise their children. This is possible, but not if you can't even include the word family in the outcome documents, right? So we have some work to do. Okay, let's continue. So here are just a few examples of our waves. Okay, we have Uganda. Okay, we have Ghana. We have Nigeria. This is in the Zambia. Okay, the women had a project idea. This one here in the corner. They had a project idea, and for some reason, there was some kind of a hang-up because the holiday things were shut down, and our small little grant that we give to fulfill these projects couldn't go through. They fundraised on their own. They didn't need us. They said, no, we got it. Okay? And that is the power of an empowered woman. So let's continue. I want to show just some of these pictures. Okay, so our focus, like I said, is self-reliance, education, and safety. Safety, first, because women need to feel safe. Just the mere fact that women can gather in a home or in a local wave center means that they can talk freely and link together and feel safe. Then they can bring that energy and that confidence into their homes. Then in education. So here's a picture of our Sirikiche wave. This is a mother learning right alongside her child. You don't have to wait generations. Women can learn with their children in the home environment. It doesn't have to be in this brick and mortar, boarding school. That's not the only way you can learn. And by the way, one of our tenets is education and wisdom. Because how many times are we neglecting our older generation because they don't have the accolades and the PhDs and all the letters behind their name? They have wisdom. And it links generations together. And then self-reliance. And I'm going to be very honest with all of you. I have sat in event after event, and I've heard nothing about self-reliance. I've only heard about big mechanisms, okay, that are supposed to provide all the solutions for us and make it dependent on their machine. We need to become self-reliant in every capacity. And this I want to stress with the utmost, feeling in my heart. Be self-reliant. Teach self-reliance in education, in food sovereignty, okay, in every capacity. So we need to grow those communities of independence. Okay, next slide. And then we have a problem. We problem solve. We have a plan. This is from our St. George. They helped tremendously with the Navajo Nation. Before the government could even solve the COVID problem, they had a semi-truck loaded with blankets, with everything that the Navajo Nation needed. And me and my husband, for our anniversary, we drove it there. And we were the first responders on the ground to the Navajo Nation. Because we're nimble, we're quick, we don't need to wait for all the bureaucracy. Okay? This is our Houston wave, and they created, they started noticing the distance happening between all of their teens, all of their youth constantly glued to screens. So those women got all of these high schools involved. And they brought a presenter out that talked about the harms of screens with youth. Powerful event. Okay? And then this is our St. George wave. They saw an abandoned plot of land, and they said, we can do something here. Now it's a sprawling 10-acre self-sustaining garden that feeds the entire community. All of the elderly community are out there. They were all feeling alone and isolated. Now they're all there communing together in the garden. Bountiful food that they share with everybody. It's become a community hub. They have bees, they have rabbits, they have chickens, and they share the wealth. These are actual solutions from our actual ways. Okay, let's go one more. These are more pictures. This is our Sirikiche project. These are their pigs. These are the moms learning. These are the moms learning with their kids. And it's just, these are solutions. We just need to grow this. We just need to grow this stuff. Okay? And so I want to end here and just turn the time over to Chantal Carr, because Hope Arising is the entrepreneurial arm that helps this actually work, because it teaches business skills to women and to families that are sustainable. Okay? And that independence that I talked about, we talked all about banking and finance and redistribution of wealth. Oh my gosh, right? Chantal Carr is going to show us how we can become independent. Okay? Thank you, Chantal.
It is wonderful to be with you. Can you hear in the back? Wonderful. Thank you. As she spoke, after we have a belief that we can make change, the question is, and I've heard this throughout this conference, how do we put money into the hand of the mother? This is the question. I've been working in East Africa for 20 years, and everywhere I went, this is the question. I cannot feed my children. I cannot pay the school fee. So what do we do? And for me personally, I'm a mother of 6 children. My last 2 babies, they died. Like so many women around the earth, there is nothing we don't want to do than to care for our children that they live, correct? We have to be able to feed them and pay for their school fee so they can be there. With that in mind, I began looking for ways to give